Okay folks, so welcome to another edition of Trident Warriors Reviews. In this review today we're actually going to be taking a look at the LeFeet S1 Pro DPV, so it's the underwater scooter, so I have it here. I've actually got my GoPro case mounted to the top. Now we're actually on site today. I'm going to be diving, myself and my friend, we're going to be doing a CCR dive down to the maximum depth of this system, which is 40 meters. Our planned dive on here actually is going to be 3 hours, although the unit is only capable of about an hour and a half. So we're going to be testing this to the absolute maximum, and we're also going to be carrying a lot of equipment, so not just a regular scuba diving setup. So you can see behind me here, this is Capitan Chillo. See if I can get it in the background. So this particular island here is kind of like a Christmas cake with a big candle on top. It is absolutely huge, and we are going to try and circumnavigate the entire base of the island. Tried to do it last time and we only made it halfway around by finning. So this time we're going to use the power of the S1 Pro and see if we can get us that little bit further. So we're going to take a compass bearing once we jump in and see if we can do a full 360 degrees. All right, so we're going to go and get wet. So here we go. Okay folks, so here we are. We are Capitan Chillo Island. Where'd he go? Okay, so we're going to, myself and my buddy Nick over here, get it ready. We are going to be running the S1 Pro CCR dive down to 40 meters. Probably do, we're going to do 3 hours. It's like a corkscrew, so we're going to start at 40 and slowly work our way up, and probably use the S1 Pro on the shallower part of the dive. So here we go, time to go. So we actually just took these two bad boys down to the ocean here. You can see them. So we got the S1 Pros here. We switched out the batteries. So these are the spare batteries on the unit. So we took those out, and we are going to be getting ready, both myself and one of my dive buddies here, Matt. We're going to be going out, taking it for another discovery. They're pretty sweet. Right, so here I am at Evolution Divers in beautiful island of Malapascua in the Philippines. I am here with Matt and Nick, and we have just had an excellent couple of days diving. We've taken the S1 Pros out for a spin. I would say that we have definitely taken them way beyond the specified limits for sure. In fact, today actually I was a little naughty, took it down to 70 meters, and they were still functioning. So I just want to see what these guys think. These are actually both two very seasoned CCR divers, thousands of hours of diving. They dive lots of different DPVs. These ones are actually, I would say, definitely the smallest you've ever used, right?
No doubt.
When I brought them to you, you looked at them and you're like, well, what the hell's this? So I guess who wants to give me a quick run through first? Maybe you, Nick. Tell me what you thought, mate.
I was surprised actually that they were able to drag diver with extra tanks around through the water at a relatively good speed. Only thing I guess hard to improve with the size is the battery life. But yeah, for size, travel, awesome, you know, if you want it just for, you know, instead of lugging a full size scooter around, if you know, perfect for recreational dives, or easy on a tech dive, save you swimming into the current.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, we were each of us dragging a bailout cylinder of an aluminum 80 and an aluminum 40, plus the weight of our CCR equipment, and also the weight of our bodies as well. So obviously we were taking these things way beyond what they were designed for, which I think is really for recreational divers, but also for assisting adaptive divers, where we can actually take the brackets off here and mount them to a cylinder. The handles here, and we'll show you in the assembly and disassembly of them later on, but the handles actually come off. They're not hardwired into the system, and you can actually give that trigger handle to your dive buddy as long as you don't get too far. We did actually practice that a little bit. We had a couple of chuckles, but it was kind of neat to be able to control the DPV from another, you know, from another person. So over to Matt. Give me your run through, mate. What did you think?
Well, yeah, to be honest, I was shocked. I kind of did giggle a little bit at the beginning that anything this small could really be useful, but it does work. It does have the ability to pull a fully equipped technical diver, even in a dry suit, which is giving more drag and so on. We were still able to go against the current in some places, and going with the current, it's actually pretty fast, so it was a lot of fun. The weight is possibly the only negative really, other than the short battery life, which is obviously a feature of the size. It's quite negative, so it would be, my personal opinion, nice maybe to have it slightly more neutral in the water. But other than that, I think it's very handy. The little GoPro mounts work nicely on the front there. So I would be interested to play with it a bit more, try attaching potentially a tow cord and see if you could have it less that you have to hold on all the time, because obviously that can become a bit like of a strain. But it's definitely a lot of options. Wayne was mentioning you can actually put two of them together as well, which sounds like an interesting idea to try out. So I think they definitely are a player in the game, and as we go through the next few years, I think you'll see a lot more of these probably popping up in dive centres around the world.
Yeah, sure. And I think to add to the sentiments here, I would say that on these units, there are two handles on here. So we actually played with them where we would actually hold the units like this in a downward angle, and it would actually give us the ability to drive the unit, plus managing our CCRs or whatever else we've got to mess around with. So we would just have a one-hand hold on these, but you've got to put it down like that. If you try to put it in the position it is, it actually puts a lot of strain on your wrist, and also it's got a lot of torque, so it will twist. So much easier like that. I do believe that LeFeet sells a bracket that goes on top. It's a single handle bracket which you can get as well, so that would be interesting to try. But anyways, so that is myself, Wayne, with Matt and Nick over at Evolution Divers in Malapascua. These guys are absolutely fantastic to dive with.
Thanks,
I genuinely love coming here. It's the other side of the world for me, but it's well worth the trip. So with that, thanks guys. Awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you,
Really
sir.
appreciate it. Okay, just gonna kind of take you through the S1 Pro, which is made by LeFeet. This is a new water scooter that they've developed, the DPV. So a couple of things on here as we get in. So you have the handle grips either side here. They do make a couple of different mounts. One of them is a mount which is just a single mount on here and you can hold on to it. And the other is the double mount, which I actually have here resting on. So this is the double mount where you can actually mount one of the DPV scooters on either side here. So this one here and this one here. Now the handset on these, let me see if I can show this to you, move this a little closer. So the handset right here, it's actually a remote. So what you can do is just twist this puppy off, twist him off and pull him off. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can actually attach that. And then what you can do is you could actually remove this bracket off the system. And then there is another bracket that it comes with, and you can mount it to a cylinder or whatever. So it's a pretty neat device. It's got a lot of power actually. Now the battery, if you can see, actually sits inside here. It's simply a screw and pop off here. It's not actually waterproof inside this chamber here. However, the fitting itself is, in order to remove the battery, you simply twist this and open it up like that, and so that's the battery. You can see inside here as well, there's a little O-ring in there, and the box actually comes with a spare one. Now if we tip this battery out, that's it. This is a airplane friendly battery. Just on here, this has a voltage of 22.2 volts, capacity of 4400 milliamps, with a rating of 97.68 watt hours. So I'll actually talk a little bit about the battery power on these. We did actually just run a whole bunch of tests with these systems with CCR divers and with our total weight, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But first off, like I said, this is a unit that's already been put together that I purchased. Now also this handle here, same again, can pop off, and you can put the trigger on whichever side that you want. Sorry, I've actually got a bungee cord on here. Now it does come with a lanyard. Personally, I don't like the lanyard just because I don't want it strapped around my wrist. I want to be able to take this off with a big clip and just clip it onto the side of my rig. But anyway, so there you go. We can take this one out. Make sure I'm not being a ham-fisted oaf and removing it. So anyway, once that's out, the whole bracket slides off. There is a power button on here. Now if you were to push this down, hold it down and release, it should power up. Actually, he's not going to do that because I don't have the battery on because I'm a donut. Right, I'm going to put the battery back in, show you quickly. So battery back in. This is actually already pre-rinsed in fresh water, so make sure that the connectors line up properly, and then just twist this in like that. Put your cap back on, nice and easy like that. And now you can just push a button down. I can see it from here, and then it powers up. So you can see on here, actually we've been using this quite a lot, so we've only got like one power bar left here. So these little dots here, 1 2 3 4, if you can see them, actually represent the power remaining in the battery. And then on this side here, 1, 2, 3, there are 3 speed settings. So I'll show you that in just a second. With the handset, there is a locking button on here, which all it does is literally lock the trigger. It has no other function other than just locking the trigger. So when you're ready to turn this on, you notice on here there's a light on top. Switch this main unit off, because the last thing I want is for the main unit to spin up. So order of powering up is to make sure that the main unit is turned off, and then take the handset and then press, and you'll notice a little light here. Press the change key and you'll notice that that light eventually comes on. Did it come on? I think so. Yeah, it did. It's just super bright here, so you can actually see that that light is now on, so this trigger is active. Now what we can do now, turn on the power on this guy, and as you can see, I've got the remote control completely away from me, and I'll hold it up to you, and you can see as I press, better hold it to my chest actually, and there you go. Now it does have a distance on here. I think we tested it, so even this far away, we're still powering. You can hear it still going. If I try and spread this out a little bit more, if you can hear it, we're still going, and that's my full arm span, and I'm able to turn it on and off with a full arm span, so that's pretty cool as well. It's these are I think very well suited to adaptive divers, so you can put the unit on their equipment, and either you yourself or the adaptive diver themselves can control it with this. What I'm going to do now is just crack open the box and show you a brand new unit which we have here. We're gonna go through all of the pieces that comes in the box there in just 1 second. So you can see here in the background, here's one actually pre-assembled. Apparently it won some Good Design Award 2021 on here. So pretty nice box it comes in. As you open the box, simply flip up the lid here, and shows you the parts that you have. So handle bracket there, and also the remote control, battery, and main unit. If you happen to buy the system with a spare battery, which I did and I highly recommend, you'll have one battery inside the box, and one battery is actually inside the unit itself. So this is just a single bracket for a single unit. Getting into the box, so first things first is RTFM, right? So taking a look in here, you do have the manual, and there's just a couple of nice things here, some stickers maybe if you wanted to stick any of those on your luggage, whatever, and also a quality certificate. Now not going to go through the manual too much, obviously you can read that yourselves. However, I did read off some of the specifications of the system itself, so and we've already talked somewhat about the pieces. However, just to go over them again, so left grip, right grip, you can actually interchange if you wanted the remote on the left side versus the other side. So you got the main body of the unit, 2 handles, and then speed selector switch on here, and then the trigger for turning the device on and off, and then also another button here which would actually turn the main unit on. So removing the cover here to access the battery, and you've got a GoPro mount unit in here, and then the propeller cover. It does actually come with a little screwdriver which you can use to remove the propeller cover if you need to get any debris of outside the assembly. So with that, let's not waste any more time. Let's take a quick look at the unit itself and the parts that it comes with. So put this over to the side now. So getting inside the box. So here we have the S1 Pro. So first thing you'll notice is it is extremely small. This is a GoPro battery. You can see how tiny this thing is, right? It's crazy. First thing, there is a foam pad here that is to protect the one side of the system. There, as you pull it out, you'll notice that there's a little metal piece here. You kind of want to keep that safe, because that thing there allows you to screw the brackets on and everything. So we're going to take this, put that to the side, and then bring out the main unit itself. So again, there's the main unit, so there's the prop shaft in there. Again, if you get any debris caught in there, you can just use that screwdriver in here to open that stuff up. One thing we did actually notice as we were using these over the last couple of days, notice inside here that there's like a slight silver indent here. I don't know why that's happening. Looks like maybe it's salt corrosion or something. We can see it's coming off. I'm not too sure. Might actually message them. We did run these through the washer. You're supposed to clean them for about 2 minutes by putting them in fresh water and pressing the button on there. So pulling out the S1 Pro. So as you look at the S1 Pro, so the propeller is here, and then on the top here we have the mounting bracket rail, and then also the power switches here, and also the indicator buttons for power level and also speed levels 1, 2 and 3. So let's put that to the side a second, and then inside here lift up the tray. As I pull out the tray, in here you will see, and again, because I bought the unit with a spare battery, there is one other battery here, so you'll see inside. I'm doing this myself, so you can see in here you can see, so there is already one battery, and the way that the battery turns, click it, pull the top off, and there's the other battery right there. So that's how the unit comes shipped if you order 2 batteries with it. So here's the other battery. Pull this out. Now notice on this battery it actually has a rubber cover on there. So that's the rubber cover for the one battery, and then a rubber cover as well comes for the second battery, so just to keep those terminals safe. And then underneath that battery you have the one handle. So for the handle itself, see if I can do this. For the one handle, you simply twist and disconnect. Okay, now when you want to put this onto the rail, all you do is you simply put that through one side and that onto the other, and twist. We'll go through that in just a second. So next handle is here. Now this is the trigger handle. So on the trigger handle, again, I'm going to put it here. Same thing again. Twist anti-clockwise, pull the handle unit off, and then you can put it through the hole onto the main handle and set up that unit. Now what I'm going to do next is show you a couple of other things. Inside here we have the GoPro mount. So again, moving this inside this bag, have a GoPro mount here and also the screw. Okay, so what you can do is take that GoPro mount and mount it to the front, and I think now is a good time to pull out the actual bracket itself, which is located down here. Now remember again folks, I said there is the single bracket and then there is the double bracket. Now if you wanted to mount one unit, it would be like this, and if you wanted to mount 2, you would have one there and one there. Okay, so in this moment we're actually just going to set up the bracket for the one system. So put that there. So we're actually going to mount it so that it's a left side and right side for the trigger. So we just put that through like that. You screw this guy in. You don't have to do it incredibly tight, just tight enough to keep a grip there. And again, same with the trigger handle. Now remember, on the trigger handle, you want the actual trigger to be facing outwards, okay? So when you do this, put it this way through, So now put that back in, and then you should have that whole thing assembled. So now you have the bracket assembly configured on there, and then we're going to slide that on top of the S1 Pro. Simply from here, slide it in, and that's it. And you just put your screws in, one here and one there, and that's it. Now if you want to have your GoPro mount on here, what you can do is take the GoPro screw, pop it through here on the front. Notice you've got 1, 2, 3, so you pop it on the first one, put your GoPro connector in, twist them around. Remember, we have that little metal fitting, and that's what we're going to use to screw the back to make sure that the GoPro mount is done correctly there. Okay, so now that we have the main handle assembled, what we have to do is put the battery inside the unit. So open up the unit here and take off the rubber cap, pop it inside. And actually it has to go this way because there's a set of, see those pins there, pop those in, and there's only one way that the battery can go in, so it slides in. See those little rails there, and then these two pins will line up on the battery like this. Pop them over as you twist it. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but there you go, and it locks. Click, lock in, and then put the cap on, twist that, and then bring down your unit, slide the bracket on, come on, and then all you have to do then is just screw there and screw there with the supplied screws that come in this pack here. So this is actually where I'm going to try to show you a couple of other things in this unit. So in this bag there are the two screws to screw in the bracket like this, and also this little cable here. So notice it's got two little magnets on it, and actually what you do in order to charge your handset, what you do is, if you can see on this handset, there is a set of little pieces here. So you take this and you simply place it on there, and that charges the handset, and it's a standard USB connection. So plug that in. Now what will happen is that this light up here will flash green whilst it's charging, and once it's fully charged it will stay a solid green. So that's charging the actual handle. To charge the main batteries themselves, there is obviously an AC DC converter, so there is your wire there, and also the actual adapter itself. So standard adapter there. I do believe that these are yep, I can see on here that they're 100 volt and 240 volt compliant with 50 and 60 hertz, 2.0 amp max, and then the output is 3.0 amps. So same thing again for the connection, simply screw this on top of the battery, lock, click, and job done. So same here, there is a spare O-ring for the battery connector on the S1, and then finally last piece here is the lanyard. Personally, I don't like the lanyard because I like to attach it to my equipment, and that's it. Now as far as pairing the device, obviously this one is already paired. However, in order to pair these devices together, what you would actually do is read the manual, right? But there's a way of doing it, which is where you would basically squeeze both the trigger and also the speed selector at the same time, and this light will flash, and then you do the same on this unit. You hold it down until it's flashing, and then once it starts flashing like that, you can then pair again like this, and then it should pair the unit, and there you go, and that's it paired. So super easy. So again, for powering off, press down, hold that button down, so the main unit's now powered off. Same on here, press down and hold down both the trigger and also the speed selector, and then the handset will actually turn off. It's a little bright in here, so it's kind of hard to tell. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna try and hold this camera as steady as I can and talk to you a little bit about the specifics on this unit. First off, let's talk about the actual weight of the unit itself. It's 5.51 pounds. It is negatively buoyant in the water. Now, I haven't check to see the displacement. I did actually send a message off to the manufacturers to find out exactly what the displacement weight is, but you are definitely going to need to adjust your weight when you go diving with this. If you plan on keeping hold of the unit the entire time and not handing it off to a buddy diver, you want to look at probably, I would say, safely reducing your weight by 4 pounds so that you're not overweight with this system. If you plan on handing it over to a diver, obviously maintain your normal weight so that you're not underweighted with the unit itself. So there's some other information in here with respect to the dimensions. So it's 11.8 by 11.8 by 6.3. I think those are inches. It's actually a super tiny unit. Waterproof depth, it reports to 131.2 feet or 40 meters. I will tell you right now that we actually just took these on a dive today, and we were down at 70 meters. That's 70 meters with these units, and they were still functioning without any problems whatsoever. There was no water penetration inside the system, so they are extremely capable. Speed settings, there are 3: low, medium, and high. Doesn't really tell you, like, you know, how fast it will drag you through the water. However, what I can tell you is that my total weight today was 320 pounds. That includes an aluminum 40 with my regulator set, which was 23 pounds, the aluminum 80, which was 43 pounds, my rebreather, which was 63 pounds. Myself, I weigh 180 pounds. The DPV itself is 5.5 pounds, and miscellaneous things like flashlights, etc., probably accounted for about 4 pounds. So I estimate about 320 pounds of weight that this little guy was dragging around, and it did an exceptionally good job, even on speed setting 1. I'd say speed setting 1, maybe speed setting 2 are as efficient or as fast as you finning at a pretty good rate, and then there's no way that you could keep up with this on speed 3 in just finning, especially in any kind of frog kick. So battery time, they suggest it's 35 to 70 minutes in normal use. However, I would say on these dives, we were getting about 45 minutes dragging 320 pounds of diver around. So yeah, that's a lot of weight for these little guys to carry. And on top of that, obviously we've got a lot of drag with us as we're doing that, and those speeds were anything from 70 meters all the way up even into the shallows. I would say that they're a very well performing unit, excellent for recreational diving, for snorkeling, adaptive diving. If you plan on going into any kind of cave for an extended period of time, then obviously these aren't the right thing for you. However, anything like a wreck penetration, something like that, they're so small that you can simply clip them onto the side of your rigging, which I actually did. I just clipped it on my right side and equalized my weight distribution so that my trim maintained pretty well. Now, as you are riding these things, what will happen as the battery starts to deplete, let's say you were running on speed 3, as you're running on speed 3, as the battery draws down, it will actually knock the speed down 1 gear to second gear. So you'll feel that little jerk as it comes down. Also, there were occasions where it would actually shut down, so I would just leave it shut down. It just shut off automatically. Just leave it shut down for 5 minutes and then pull it back out, and I'll get maybe another couple of more minutes juice out of it. So definitely 45 minutes for sure, dragging 320. I would say an hour on a normal recreational diver, normal weight, without any problems at all. And as far as marine life, we're actually diving here in Malapascua, which is very famous on Monad Shoal for the thresher sharks. And I actually cruised by several thresher sharks today, and normally they're extremely skittish and you so much as cough or bubbles or anything, and they have a tendency to just run away or swim away rather, but these things just didn't seem to bother them. There are a couple of other things as well, actually, just about charging the system. I didn't time it myself. I'm just looking in the manual here to see. I believe that the charge time here for a completely flat to full is 2.5 hours, and that seemed about right from what I was running last night. So that, folks, is the LeFeet S1 Pro out of the box and built.